Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us with the Plymouth Historical Society's latest initiative, Memories of Plymouth. Today, we're interviewing Leonard Sawyer. Thank you, Leonard, very much for joining us today. My pleasure. My pleasure. For the last several months, 6 months to be exact, we've been in the neighborhoods. We've been chatting with folks, many of my elders, and they've been sharing stories and memories of Plymouth. Some of the folks were born here. Some of the folks have been here for decades as a job. Some people just come into Plymouth to socialize. But regardless, we've asked them to share stories and memories, the collections thereof, so other people will be able to watch, listen, and learn. So, Leonard, I have a series of questions for you today. And some of the folks know you very well. They know of you, some of them. And maybe there's one person out there that doesn't know who you are.
Possible.
Possible. It is possible. So I'm going to ask you some questions just so the folks can get to know a little bit about Mr. Leonard Sawyer. All set?
Sure.
All right. First question we have, state your full name. Your full name.
Leonard Sylvester Sawyer.
And is Sylvester after anyone special?
Yeah, my grandfather.
Grandfather. Where were you born?
On Flag Day 1925.
Flag Day 1925. And what location, city, town? What town were you born
I was born in the old Lincoln Hospital, which doesn't exist anymore, and I was reared in Woodstock.
All right. And when did you move into Plymouth?
In June of 1956.
1956. All right. And any of your education, would that have been connected with the town of Plymouth?
No, I don't believe any of it was.
All right. And let's see. You have a wife?
I have a wife, Caroline.
Caroline.
She was formerly Caroline Smith of New Hampton.
All right. And you have children?
2 sons, Edward and Charles.
Edward and Charles. All right. Thank you very much. Leonard, what was your major occupation?
I was a lawyer, and I was judge of the district court for 20 years.
20 years. And then prior to that?
Well, I quit college at one time because of sickness, and I worked for a year at Friend's Bean Factory in Malden, which has been torn down now.
Fred's Bean Factory.
Yeah, Friends, I think, sold out to a larger bean company.
All right. And what was your job there? Do you remember what your job was?
Oh, just general labor, I guess.
Okay. Now, you shared with me when you were born. That actually makes you how old?
92.
92 years old. Thank you, sir. From now on, the questions will be related to the town of Plymouth. Any memories that you have, any memories. So when would you have come to Plymouth? How old would you have been?
31.
31 years old. And did you come here because you had a position here?
No, it was because there was a vacancy. We had one lawyer disbarred, and that left only Wakefield and Batchelor, and they had all the work they could handle.
So did you join their company?
Well, no, I didn't. I was on my own all the time.
All right.
I had previously worked with Francis Eads in Woodsville for a couple of years.
Did you know anything about Plymouth before you came?
Well, I've been told many things about Plymouth, and I've known a lot of historical people. Like, I know Mrs. Spear, who know a lot about town history, and I know I belong to the Lions Club, and I met a lot of Plymouthites there.
Oh, that's great. If there was a person in your family, or maybe in the town of Plymouth, who influenced you, who might it be? Was there someone that you looked up to? Again, it could be a family member, or it could be a person from Lincoln where you were born, or the town of Plymouth.
Well, I guess maybe my parents. They had no idea of my ever being a lawyer, but they had strong ideas about justice and what was right and wrong, and that probably influenced me.
Interesting. Okay. I'm going to go backwards to Lincoln again, perhaps. Did you have a best friend during your childhood growing up? A best friend?
Well, I don't know. Paul Gilman was one of my playmates in the old days. He's gone now. But I didn't get as close to other people as I might have, I guess.
Can you tell me why?
Oh, I don't know. I was a little different. I marched to a different drummer, probably.
I've heard that before. Marched to a different drum.
And not too many of my schoolmates went to college. My cousin Eleanor Sawyer did, and she helped me a lot when I got down to UNH. But she's not with us anymore.
All right. So you went to UNH for your undergraduate degree?
That's right.
And what would you have majored in?
I majored in government.
Interesting. And how was the connection between government and your job, becoming a lawyer? Was there someone there that perhaps influenced you? Was there a course that you took?
Well, probably from learning about government, I learned a little also. I guess I was influenced by Dean Alexander. He was away on some wartime duty when I first went there, but later on he was head of the government department, and I probably learned quite a bit from him.
You mentioned the war. Did you serve at any time in your life? Were you in the service?
Yes, I was in the Army. I served in Korea for a year and then came back and worked in the personnel section at Fort Devens.
All right. And in Korea, what was it like for you? Was that the first time perhaps you'd been away from home?
Oh, no. I'd been away before. I'd been to college and I'd worked on Friends, so I'd been away from home. And even before that, I went to Camp Belknap for a while. So I'd been away from home a lot.
Okay. Was it a good experience for you to be in Korea? Was it a good experience, positive experience? I think
I learned a lot from it. I can even count to 10 in Korean.
But again, was there warfare when you were there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I was pretty well behind the lines. One time I was up at a show unit and a round of enemy ammunition came in across the street from us. Fortunately, I was not harmed. I almost got sent up to the front line, but just as I was about to go, I heard from a fellow that needed a clerk typist. And though I was a pretty poor typist, I volunteered anyway.
All right. Let's see. I'm thinking of Plymouth now, and how many decades have you been here? You arrived here in the 60s?
In the 50s.
50s.
Yeah,
so it's been 60, 70, 6 or 7 decades. In your time in Plymouth, are there memories that you have relative to major changes in the town? What major changes in the town?
Just about everything has changed. I mean, when I came here, there were about 14 dairy farms in Plymouth. Now there's only one full-time dairy farm.
Interesting.
And, the college was so small they were talking about closing it.
Absolutely, in the early 50s, right?
Yeah,
right.
and there are new churches in town. They don't affect me particularly, but and all kinds of new businesses.
Think about the businesses, if you would, the type of business that we have here. What businesses have come, and maybe was there a business or two that left?
Well, the big stores have come here, of course, and
is there one or two that may have left over time that you were sad to see it go?
Most of the industry around here, like the peg mill, and we used to hear the whistle at one whistle at 7:15 and another at 7, so we knew when to get up.
Oh my goodness!
And O.A. Miller, which took over the Farmer Draper and Maynard factory, but they've moved their operation to Ashland now.
Right.
And
well,
of course, a lot of the businesses down on the main street are gone now.
That's what I was just going to ask you. There's a hole in Plymouth. J.G. Newberry's has gone, but think about the restaurants.
Well, Fausti's is gone, of course. Blake's are gone.
Yep.
I know somebody had some.
Rice's.
Some influence on you there.
And Potter's.
Oh my gosh!
But new ones have come in, like Common Man and various, then have been some others.
So we've seen some leave us, and we've seen some come.
What's that?
We've seen some leave us, and we've seen some come.
Yeah, and the senior center is all new, of course. That was still a railroad station when I came here.
Right.
And later on, there was a lamp factory.
Perry's Lamp Factory. Perry's Lamp Factory.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know where that came from.
And it finally became the senior center. And after I retired, I voluntarily worked there some.
But if you would say industry has changed, for example, the dairies have come and gone, anything else that we've lost over the decades?
Well, some we gained and lost, like Sprague Electric. They came in soon after I did, and they're gone. And their plant was taken over by Hitchener, and they're gone.
Wow.
And
that's right. That's right.
And where Hannaford's now is, Hatch Dairy used to be.
Was prior to Hannaford's, help me, Food Town? Food Town. Was it Food Town before Hannaford's?
Yeah. When it first opened as a grocery, it was Food Town, yeah. And another part of the shopping center was the Giant Store, discount house.
You're right. You're right. Boy, that's a long time ago.
It was.
Oh my gosh. Thinking about celebrations that we've had, let's go back to just 4 years ago. We had our 250th anniversary of our town, our birthday of our town, in 2013. Do you have any memories of any of those in the past? Because we would have talked about 2013, 1963. Do you remember that celebration?
Yeah, and then we had a whopping big parade, and also we had a reenactment of portions of the Revolution. And
63.
We had a service conducted by the late Leonard Huntress.
We're talking about the 200th anniversary.
Oh, yeah.
That's in 1963. 1963, the 200th anniversary.
Yeah.
Leon Huntress. Wow.
A lot of the people that participated then, are no longer with us.
Mm. But we had a large parade.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's nice. That's nice. And I guess I won't ask you your recollections from 1913, huh? Or whenever the one was previously to that. That's before you and I were here. 1913?
Long before I was here, yeah.
Talk about the weather. People that I've interviewed in the past have talked about fires they've seen, floods. Anything that comes to your mind at all?
Well, I was thinking about fires just this morning because, of course, we keep hearing about the fires in California. And I know before I came here, I think it was in 1941, they had a big fire downtown, burned up the Methodist Church and several other buildings.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the fires in Plymouth, there have been quite a few fires in Plymouth, but most of them have involved just one building. So that was the only real disastrous fire. And of course, I wasn't here at that time, but there was plenty of talk about it.
Well, you must have been here when the Congregational Church burned.
Oh yeah.
Sure, 1980s.
When that burned up, and we had all kinds of theories about who caused the fire and so forth. Mm-hmm. They never proved anything.
Mm-hmm. It was a sad day, though, to watch that beautiful church burn down.
It was sad.
Yeah, it was.
It was early in the morning, I remember.
Weather-wise, tornadoes, hurricanes, ice jams.
Well, I guess there's been an ice jam or two down the river. Hurricanes. I think that's the last one that made a direct hit on the area was in '38, when I was just a high school kid then. So, and I don't think we ever had a tornado. We might have had some small ones, but I don't remember any.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you for that. I'm going to ask a couple of questions. I think you've been here for so many generations. If you had someone in front of you right now, a group of young children perhaps, the younger generation, not children necessarily, if you had some advice for them, what might it be? Advice.
Well, if you were still in high school, pay more attention to your studies, and you might use things that you never dreamed you would, and don't be just fooling too much, and don't practice your bad language on people. It may sound smart to them, but really isn't.
Good advice. Good advice. As you reflect on your life in Plymouth, what has made you happy being here?
What has made you
happy?
Yeah, I got married.
Oh, you got married. That's a good one. That's a good one. Would you like to share anything about you and Caroline and how you married, but maybe almost didn't get married?
Yeah, we almost did. It's true. We first met at a Grange meeting, and then I occasionally saw her around town. And I didn't even dream of marriage then, but it gradually grew on us. But because of the fact that I was a Catholic and she was a Baptist, and neither one of us was ever going to turn, we decided that marriage was impossible, and a few days later announced our engagement.
Oh my goodness.
And it hasn't been a real difficulty between us.
That's great. That's great. But other thoughts about Plymouth? With so many decades, was it the right spot for you? What about Plymouth has given you great joy?
I think it's probably the right spot for me. Even before I came here, I kind of wanted to practice in Plymouth, and of course I knew some people from Plymouth, and were close to there. Plymouth was the town we had to go through to get to the outside world. In those days, we had trains.
That's right. That's right. When did the trains leave us? In the 50s, was it? Middle of the 50s?
I think it was around 50, was it about 59? They were all ready to close this railroad line. And then we had a big storm and washed out the tracks, so that expedited matters a little.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Leonard, my memory of you, I'm a young child, not so young as well, and I find you walking the town of Plymouth. You are walking and walking and walking.
Yeah, some people wouldn't believe I had a car because they saw me walking.
Did you enjoy walking?
I think so, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, of course, I started young because neither one of my parents ever drove a car.
Okay.
So I had to walk most places where I went.
So when you came to Plymouth, you just continued to walk and walk and walk?
I walked quite a bit. I wanted to explore the town, so I walked way up on Texas Hill and other remote locations.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. And did you feel good? Did you enjoy it?
Well, mostly. Mm-hmm. I was kind of lonesome before I got a steady girlfriend. Well, I did date others, but
we're not going to tell Carolyn that. Carolyn's in there, so we're not telling Carolyn that.
Yeah.
All right. So if there was something else, I want to wind down if I can. What would you like to share with your audience? You've been on this earth for 92 years. You've met a great deal of people. You've had a very respectable profession, being a lawyer, being a judge.
Well, I tell them not to get discouraged, even though I have been discouraged sometimes in my life. There's always good things around the corner.
Good, positive.
Yeah, I'd be willing to tell them that. And don't believe everything you hear either, because I've heard things that were way off and proved to be untrue.
Well, I can say that today when we watch TV.
Learn to recognize the truth.
Truth. All right. All right. Well, we want to thank you for our short interview today. It's been my privilege to be in your house 2 or 3 times to get to know you a little bit better, and Caroline as well.
Yeah. Poor Caroline is having a hard time.
She's having a hard time today. Yeah. She's having a hard time today.
I remember a few amusing things that I could have told her if it asked me. A couple of things that happened in court. There was one, well, even before I became judge, I had a case before Judge Ernst, and the guy was charged with DWI. He insisted he'd only had 1 drink all day. So the chief of police asked him, how big a drink was that? He said, a whole 6-pack.
Okay.
And the next morning, I met Judge Ernst coming out of Faustin, and he said, how's your acrobat?
Uh-huh. I think we'll close on that one. To our audience, we want to thank Leonard Sawyer for joining us today. And we hope to be back in about 4 or 5 months. During this time, we will be interviewing other people, gathering their pictures. But I think it's been my privilege to get into the homes of so many people that I knew of, but I really didn't quite know well. So it's been fun to get to know you and hear some of your stories about the town of Plymouth and your upbringing as well. What I say every single time to the audience is please consider, yes, continue taking those pictures, downloading those pictures, saving them in different venues, and when appropriate, what do I say? Turn the pictures around, write a story on it, because future generations are going to say thank you at that time. So for a few more months, we're off the air, and then we hopefully will be back sharing some people, some places, and events with you. Thank you.